So you're lost. Now what, right? And by lost, man, let's be honest, like sometimes we're lost in life. You know what's funny is sometimes we're lost in life, and when we're lost in life, we want to admit we're lost in life. And it doesn't even always feel like it. Sometimes we feel like, hey, you know what? I got something that's a good groove. But here's how you'll know you're lost in life. If you don't wake up on fire, like if there's not like this, I'm ready to get after the day, or if you find yourself going down a path and you start questioning at some point, is this my path? Because think about it, that's what lost means. Lost essentially is like, I don't know if I'm in the right place. So if you're going to the path right now and you're not where you're supposed to be, maybe you're lost. Or maybe you're kind of moving in the direction, and you're heading in the right direction, but it doesn't feel like you're making the progress, like you're in a labyrinth. If you know what a labyrinth is, like those long, crazy, windy spaces where you can see the end of it, you can see the big, but I don't know how to get there. Anyways, right? So what do you do when you feel lost? That's the discussion I want to have with you right now. So it's going to be something I teach you in a second, but I want to talk to you real quick about like a moment where I was lost, because there's been times in my life when I've been very, very lost, and I had a ridiculous dark bottom, we'll call it. And I was in a point where I'm in the middle of dealing with this identity crisis, no more NFL. Out of the picture, I turned my left shoulder, played against the Philadelphia Eagles. I watched my teammates go on to win a Super Bowl that year. Dagger, right? And so now you got this situation where I've lost the football identity. On top of that, I have this gym I'd open. I want to come home and regain the sense of myself, right? So I build this gym. In the gym, I'm running it, but I don't know what I'm doing. And 9 months in, a guy rolls up on a Harley, hands me an envelope, and he looks at me, he says, "Hey, are you Anthony?" So yeah, he gives me this, and I take it, I open it up. Landlord was giving me 2 weeks to pay $16,000 or I would be evicted. And just so you know, there was no $16,000. So I'm in this place where the business is going down, not doing too well. Football's gone, I've lost myself. I'm at the gym every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. I'm not even present. I got 2 more kids. I have 3 kids, 2 newborn kids and a 5-year-old. My wife's at the house dealing with, I don't know how she did it. I'm out of shape, like all this stuff. So what made me was gone. I was lost. Come to find out, I'm having some deep, dark issues in my marriage. And man, I was floating, a fog. I call it a fog because it's just like you're moving, but you don't know where you're going. Everything seems like a whirlwind. So I'm in the middle of this kind of fog. And so what ends up happening is I'm going through this process and a buddy of mine comes out. We went to this house to watch a UFC fight, my buddy Derek's house. We're sitting there and I'm on the right side of the couch. TV's where you're sitting right now, and I'm sitting here and I'm just watching the fights, and I didn't move for like 3 hours. Didn't talk to anybody, I sat there. And I remember when the fights ended with 9:30, something like that, I got up and I started walking outside. My best friend Jay comes outside, he says, "Hey, Ant." This is what he says to me, simple. He says, hey, you're in a fog, man, there's a lot going on. I don't know if he said a fog, there's a lot going on, but he says these specific words. It says, "Hey, this is your reality." That was it. This is your reality. 4 words, and it took me out of the fog. Literally, the words I can use are, it ripped me out of the fog. And it hurt. I felt pain from it. And I realized I was lost in that moment. And sometimes that moment is so scary that when we realize what it could be, we want to stay in the fog. In that moment, I want to go back and tuck away, but you can't tuck away. You're out, right? You can see everything for what it is. It's painful. It left me driving off, texting my friends and family saying, "Please tell my kids who their father was." It's real. I've dealt with a lot. This was my bottom. This is the most I could have took at any given time. And as human beings, I was telling my son just last night, I said, "Son, everybody is about 2, maybe 3 overwhelming moments away from being homeless or taking their lives." Everybody. Like if I lost a kid and something happened in my marriage, like I would be a different human. Like it'd be an overwhelming moment. My heart wouldn't be able to handle, to be honest. I don't know what I do at those points. I'm a strong man. It takes a lot to get me to a certain point of breaking, but we all have a breaking point. So what do you do if you're in those moments, right? That's the question that I want to answer for you. It's a real thing I want to talk to you about, because you might be there, and if you aren't there, somebody else you know might be there. Let's be real. People in our lives, they're not always in great, amazing places, and you know it, but you don't tell them about it. So maybe this will help them. I want to give you a structure to look at what it looks like, to kind of be in a fog, but to find out where you're at. It's called the ID phase grid. So ID phase grid. And the way that this thing works, it's a grid, literally 4 sections. And we're going to look at it like this. You're going to have on one side here, it's going to be whether I am open, or locked in, we'll call it locked. Locked in, and by this I mean locked in to an identity. Who you are. Are you locked into being somebody? Or the bottom, are you searching? Searching means, am I out in the world searching to find out who I want to be? I've talked about this in different ways. It's the same structure. I don't know which video it might be, and maybe I haven't. I talk about this stuff a lot. Maybe it's on podcasts. But right now, I want to attach this thought to where you are at in your life if you might feel like you're a little bit lost. And so here's the thing. We're going to actually talk about the first piece. Locked in means, are you locked into being somebody right now? Are you the mom? Are you the dad? Are you the coach? Are you the brother? Are you the business owner? For me, I had locked into like, I am the business owner, I am the husband, I'm the father, I'm the dad, I'm all these things, right? But what happens is moments take place that unlock me from that. So when I was in my situation, I'd lost football. I was locked in there. I lost a marriage. I'd been locked in there. I lost a family. I wasn't the present dad. Locked in there. I was a healthy guy. Not locked. Like it was all unlocked. And what happens, I wasn't out looking to be somebody new. I was mourning the loss. Therefore, I was lost. And when you are lost, it's a funky place to be. This is where a lot of people are, and you may not even realize it at times. But we can truly be lost and be struggling with so much because we're not realizing what this actually means for ourselves. So when you're in a place where you've got things that have pretty much unlocked you, you got to take honestly accept the fact that you might just be lost. And I talked about what that means. Maybe you're not in a place you want to be. Maybe you're fighting against some headache that you don't even know why you're fighting. You don't wake up with joy, like, a joy, right? That's a big thing. So some people are lost. Now's the next one. If you have decided I'm not searching for something and you've locked into a place for your identity, what this ends up being, and I'm making it in red because I don't like that this is what it is, but it's what it is. This is closed. What this means is that in your life, what you got going on, you didn't go searching for an identity. You didn't go searching to be somebody. You went from being lost, you locked into something because mom said to do it, dad said to do it, friend said to do it, cousin does this. I saw some guy on the internet talk about doing it. That must be, I should trade Forex because some guy hit me up in the inbox and told me to do it. Maybe you should go and become a chef because you like food, right? You just did it because somebody else told you to do it. You didn't spend time searching the world to see what the world had to give you. And a lot of people get here and it's like a red light. It's why it's red. You get closed off to the world, and what ends up happening is you're going through the motions, and these other people, that what happens is you go, oh man, I get to 50 years old and I got a midlife crisis. I don't know who I am. And what do people say? I gotta go find myself. Difficult thing, right? I got to go find myself because I've closed off and I didn't know what the world offers. And I look at things with a yearning of like, I want to go try that, right? So this is a person that closed off, locked in, didn't go searching. Then you got a place I think a lot of humans love to get and should get at some point in time. We're going to say this is blue. We're gonna say it's green. I'm gonna use green for this. I was thinking about it, but I think the other one's gonna be good for blue. Green is what I would call, I am searching, but haven't locked in. I am open. Just like a green light, the lane is open to go down. Bing, 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 bing. I'm open. I get to go see what the world has. These are people who have said, you know what? I'm not going to determine that myself is whatever my mom said, my dad said, my cousin, my race, my religion. I'm not going to close off. I'm going to go and say, open back up. I want to go find out. I want to go search in this world and see what the world has to give me. Is there a new idea I can adopt? Is there some new community of people I can be around? A new dream you can adopt? Like, what can you find? Go get open again. Go explore the world a little bit. Yes, you might find some people don't accept it, but guess what? That's the world. I'm a man of faith. I love Jesus, and not everybody loved Jesus. His own people killed him, which I'm telling you that because I want you to realize not everybody's gonna love you or love your choice, and that's okay. You're not making a choice for them. You're making a choice for you. So get to the point where you open yourself back up and say, let me go search this world. It's an amazing, beautiful world for what else is out there. And then what happens as you're searching and you're open, you go, wow, hey, I love, I love knitting yellow socks for veterans. Cool. Here's what happens. You do more of that because you found it exists, right? And then you become found. And this found is in blue because it's a good open, like, blue's a deep breath color for me. And I want you to think about that. Think about what it would feel like to know that you've gone out into the world And maybe you were lost and you found what you wanted to do and you found yourself, right? You got open to it. Or maybe you were closed off to the world. You opened up real fast and said, man, I'm going to find this thing. And you go and do this. So if you're lost, sometimes the biggest, most important thing you got to do is either open yourself up and search for something, or at least lock yourself into something to figure out what's out there. And if you don't love it, open yourself back up until you've spent time searching the world, trying things, landing on that aspect that says, man, I like this, and you find yourself. See, in my situation, what I was experiencing was like I didn't know who I was. I had to go and find myself, literally, out of this fog, find out who I was. And here's the thing, it didn't happen smoothly. It wasn't like I went and like, oh, this is great. I did dumb stuff. I'm a man of faith, but I had multiple partners. I was traveling around. I was doing this stuff. I wasn't doing drugs, but I was drinking in between sessions. I owned a gym. I would go to the gym, train clients in the morning, go home, drink beers in the afternoon, and go back to the gym and tell people to be healthy. How incongruent is that, right? I was in a funky place. I hadn't found myself. I was open and I was experiencing a lot of different things that I honestly should and shouldn't have experienced, because in this open stage, as much as I did find some things I should have been doing, I did find things I should have been doing. I did come back to my faith. I did find better communities. I did find this world that I'm in now where I teach from my heart and my experience. And once I found that I love these things that are in here, I closed off to the rest of the things I didn't want to have in my life, and I found myself where I'm at now. And this is where I believe a lot of people are trying to get, to find yourself. But here's a unique thing. I want to give this kind of side, we'll call it an extension past this. Because some people think, hey, I'm found. I'm good for life. Wrong. You are not good for life. Because here's what happens. When you find yourself, you find you're in a new space, you get exposed to new opportunities, new destinations, new people, new community, new world. And when you have this new world that's upon you, man, you gotta start thinking, this is awesome. And you've locked in, you found yourself, but what if I want to do something else? I know a lot of people that they dig a deep trench, go in a great area, they love their job for a decade. And then the 11th year hits, they go, is there something else out there for me? Could I maybe have a different career? Like I fought so hard for this. I thought it was what I wanted. I'm making the money. I have the notoriety, but it's not filling my soul anymore. So what do? You open yourself back up to go and see the world. A buddy of mine, Dave Hollis, I love his heart, man. What this guy did is he was a Disney exec, making millions, putting movies, Avenger movies, like all the Marvel movies into theaters. Dude was killing it, top of the world. And at a certain point, he realized, you know what? This isn't something I love right now. I'm not in love with this kind of concept. I'm not in love with this career. He opened himself back up to a new world of personal development, and now he's found himself there, and he's a phenomenal servant. Man, this guy's a force in the world. He found himself again, and who knows, maybe someday he tries to open back up and do it again, but it should be fluid. This should be a cycle here. And it's okay for life to be that way. It's okay for life to express and teach you new things. Think about the funnest people you know. They're always trying new things, doing different stuff, but they always stay in a space here. They don't float back to being closed off and feeling funky. They don't ever lose themselves completely. They are always in a space of let me open back up to the world, even if it's finding meaning, and come back to be who I am in a smooth cycle. So if you are lost, if you're in a space where you're like, man, I don't know what to do, it's very simple. It genuinely becomes simple. If you are here, you're not searching to find a place for yourself in the world. Search the world by doing things. Action ends suffering. Taking action to learn something. Put new stuff into your mind, to your heart, new people, experience things. Or to begin, you might say, you know what, I'm just going to try something that may not be the thing I want to do. Sometimes you're not going to find that key thing that sparks and says, that's your purpose. You might not find it at first, but you might have to go and close yourself off and go down a path and then find out, you know what, I tried this. It taught me some things, but I don't love it. Let me go open back up to see what's in the world, and then I'll be found. Now, I don't know if this video is going to resonate with you or maybe somebody you know, but if you're in a place where you're lost, you're feeling funky, there's an out. There's ways to figure this stuff out. At this point in my life, my marriage is great. I got amazing kids. I'm a present father. I have a business that thrives. I get to do this for a living where I get to serve and teach and change hearts all day long. Something of this joy that I have inside level-wise is where I found myself. And if you're looking for that yourself too, just apply this.